I told you the hideous car in your neighbor's driveway could leave supercars in the dust? You'd probably walk right past it without a second glance, right? But beneath those awkward lines and odd angles lies unexpected power and performance. Can you imagine a car that goes to 60 in under 5 seconds, or a quirky hatchback that handles like a sports car? You'll see how appearances can be deceiving and why these overlooked rides deserve a second look. Keep watching as we uncover the 9 ugliest sleepers and uncover their hidden strengths. Number 1. Pontiac Aztec AWD. The Pontiac Aztec AWD is one of the most unusual vehicles to be called a sleeper. Its design has been criticized a lot, but when you look at what it can do, it starts to make more sense. It came with a 3.4-liter V6 engine that produced about 185 horsepower. It could go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in around 7.6 seconds. That's not super fast, but for a mid-size SUV from that time, it was decent. It had an all-wheel drive system called Versatrack, which helped it handle better in different weather and road conditions. The Aztec also came with some practical features, like a built-in cooler you could take out, an optional tent that attached to the back, and a sliding cargo floor to make loading easier. The way the Aztec looked was a big reason why many people didn't like it. Its design was very different from most other cars, and not in a way that appealed to everyone. Still, over time, it found fans who liked how useful and different it was. The Aztec became more popular again when it showed up in the TV series Breaking Bad. The main character, Walter White, drove it, and that helped more people take a second look at the car and see it in a new light. Number 2. Fiat Multipla. The Fiat Multipla, sold between 1998 and 2010, is often remembered for its strange design. It had a noticeable bump below the windshield that held separate high-beam lights, which made it stand out, but not always in a good way. Even though many people found it ugly, the car was very practical. It had a roomy interior with space for 6 people, all while being small enough to easily drive in the city. Its unusual design was even featured in the Museum of Modern Art's Different Roads exhibit in 1999. The Multipla came with several engine options, including a 1.9-liter JTD diesel engine. It wasn't fast, but it had enough power for daily driving and was good on fuel, which made it a smart pick for families. When it came to safety, the Multipla got mixed results. It received a 3-star rating from Euro NCAP. It did well in side crash tests, but it didn't perform as well in front impact crashes. In those cases, there was a risk of injury to the lower legs of the driver and passengers. Even with its problems, the Multipla has built up a group of loyal fans. Its odd shape and useful features have made it a unique classic. Some people believe its value might go up in the future, and today, well-kept models can sell for as much as £5,900. Number 3. AMC Gremlin X V8 variant. The AMC Gremlin X V8 version is a great example of a car that looks ordinary, but packs surprising power. With its short back end and small size, it seemed more like a basic economy car than something built for speed. But under the hood, it had a 5.0-liter, 304 cubic inch V8 engine that made 150 horsepower and 245 pound-feet of torque. That was enough to get it from 0 to 60 miles per hour in about 8.5 seconds, similar to some well-known muscle cars of its time. To help with performance, the Gremlin X came with wider tires and special wheels that gave it better grip and handling. Inside, it had bucket seats borrowed from AMC's sportier cars, making it more fun to drive. Even though it was small, it could seat 4 people, so it was still useful for everyday driving. One dealership in Mesa, Arizona, Randall AMC, took things even further. They built a special version called the 401XR, which came with a larger 401 cubic inch V8 engine that produced 255 horsepower. That version could finish a quarter mile in the high 13-second range, which was very fast for a car like this. Number 4. Chrysler PT Cruiser GT. The Chrysler PT Cruiser GT is one of those cars that you wouldn't expect to be quick just by looking at it. Its old-school, retro design isn't for everyone, which is why it often ends up on lists like Ugliest sleepers. But behind that look, there's a car that can actually move. Launched in 2003, the PT Cruiser GT came with a turbocharged 2.4-liter four-cylinder engine, the same kind used in the Dodge Neon SRT4. It made 215 horsepower at first, and later models pushed that up to 230 horsepower and 245 pound-feet of torque. You could get it with either a 5-speed manual or a 4-speed automatic. With the right setup, it could go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in about 6.8 seconds. To handle the extra power, Chrysler added bigger brakes, a firmer suspension, and 17-inch wheels. These changes helped the car turn and stop better than the regular PT Cruiser. Still, it didn't catch on with most car fans. The styling reminded people of cars from the 1930s, which didn't appeal to buyers who wanted something that looked fast. Also, because the regular PT Cruiser was often used as a family or rental car, many people just didn't take the GT seriously as a sporty option. Number 5. Buick Regal GS, early 2000s. The early 2000s, Buick Regal GS is a perfect example of an ugly sleeper, a car that looks pretty ordinary, but offers impressive performance. Under its simple exterior, the Regal GS has a 3.8-liter supercharged V6 engine that produces 240 horsepower and 280 lb-ft of torque. This setup lets it go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in about 6.7 seconds and finish the quarter mile in around 14.9 seconds. That's fast enough to keep up with many sportier cars of the time. On the outside, the Regal GS doesn't stand out much, except for a small rear spoiler. Its low-key design helps it blend into everyday traffic, so it's often overlooked by people who don't know what it's capable of. Inside, the car keeps things simple with leather seats and a basic dashboard. It's not fancy, but it's comfortable and practical, which fits with Buick's reputation for making cars that focus on comfort. Number 6. Saab 97X Aero. The Saab 97X Aero is often called one of the 9 ugliest sleepers because, while it doesn't look like much, it's actually a powerful performance SUV. Released in 2008, it was Saab's attempt to mix Swedish design with American muscle. Built on the same platform as the Chevrolet Trailblazer, it came with a 6.0-liter LS2 V8 engine that produced 390 horsepower and 395 pound-feet of torque. This engine helped the Aero go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 6 seconds. Cut accordingly. However, despite its strong performance, the 97X Aero's design didn't do it any favors. Its boxy shape and typical SUV look didn't give any hint about the power under the hood. The car did have some cool details like a special carbon flash metallic paint and 20-inch wheels, but these didn't change its plain appearance. Inside, the Aero had a driver-focused cabin with leather seats featuring the Aero logo and custom floor mats. But the interior didn't feel as premium as you might expect from a luxury brand, with some people feeling it was a bit cheap. The SUV's performance was boosted by a lowered chassis, firmer suspension, and better brakes, all of which helped it handle corners better. Despite its impressive capabilities, the 97X Aero didn't do well in the market. Only around 500 units were sold over 2 years, making it a rare car today. Number 7. Subaru SVX. The Subaru SVX, made from 1991 to 1996, is a good example of a car that had big ideas, but didn't quite come together as planned. It was designed by Giorgetto Giugiaro and had a unique look, especially with its window-within-a-window setup on the sides. This design was meant to look futuristic, similar to high-end cars like the Lamborghini Countach, but many people thought it looked strange and wasn't very practical. The car came with a 3.3-liter flat-six engine that produced around 230 horsepower. It had a 4-speed automatic transmission and all-wheel drive, which helped it go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in about 7.3 seconds. While those numbers were decent, the car was heavy, over 3,500 pounds, which made it feel less quick. It also didn't have a manual option, which disappointed drivers who wanted a sportier experience. Inside, the SVX felt upscale for the early 90s, but the dashboard and controls were seen by some as too complicated. The large glass windows gave the car a unique look, but they made it harder to see out of and weren't very useful in daily driving. Overall, the SVX was built more for comfortable cruising than sharp handling, so it didn't quite feel like a sports car. Even though it had interesting features, the SVX never found a strong fan base. Subaru sold fewer than 25,000 of them worldwide, so they're hard to spot today. Number 8. Lancia Thesus 3.2 V6. The Lancia Thesus 3.2 V6 is a full-size Italian sedan that aimed to mix comfort with power. It was made from 2003 to 2007 and came with a 3.2-liter V6 engine that produced 230 horsepower and 289 Newton-meters of torque. It could go from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 8.8 seconds and had a top speed of 240 kilometers per hour. Even though it had decent performance, many people didn't like how it looked. The rear was bulky and the front grille design was overly complicated, which turned off a lot of buyers. Inside, it had nice features like leather and Alcantara seats, but there were too many buttons, and the infotainment system felt old even at the time. On the road, it was very comfortable. The adjustable suspension and quiet cabin made it great for long drives. But because it was front-wheel drive and had soft steering, it didn't feel very fun to drive compared to German sedans. When it came to fuel use, the Thesus wasn't great. In city driving, it used around 22.7 liters per 100 kilometers, and the combined average was about 14.9 liters per 100 kilometers, which is pretty high. Number 9. Mercedes R63 AMG. The Mercedes R63 AMG is one of the most surprising performance vehicles ever made. It came out in 2007 and looked like a family minivan, but under the hood, it had a powerful 6.2-liter V8 engine made by AMG that produced 503 horsepower. Even though it looked like a big people mover, it could go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 4.6 seconds, which is incredibly fast for a vehicle that size. But the way it looked didn't win everyone over. It kept the long, boxy shape of the regular R-Class, which many people thought was unattractive. Because of that, and the fact that it was technically a minivan, it got the nickname the Ugliest sleeper. Even though it had great performance, its looks turned off most buyers, and it didn't sell well. Only about 200 of them were ever made, so finding one today is very rare. Despite its odd appearance, the R63 AMG is a unique mix of speed and space. Let us know in the comments if you've ever driven one of these underrated beasts, or if you've got another hidden gem in mind. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss an update on more surprising cars. And as always, keep driving. Peace.